Hello students, Mr. Young here, and we're getting into chapter 8 today. It is simply called the Constitution. And here it is right here. We're learning all about it. And you can see it's not very thick, right? This isn't, like the words are kind of small, I guess, but for the most part, this isn't a very book. But this is the outline of our whole government and the whole system and the whole Constitution. And it's kind of small because you got to keep it simple because simple things usually work best, and that's why we kept it simple. But there are some fascinating and at the time groundbreaking aspects of the U.S. Constitution and how the federal government ended up panning out, and that's what we're going to learn about today. Lesson 1 is called Principles of the Constitution. The 7 main principles of the Constitution, it's things like individual rights, limited government, federalism, uh, checks and balances, separation of powers. These are all big words for relatively simple ideas that make our country work. You know, and it's not perfect, but it seems to do a pretty good job. So we're going to learn all about it. Why is this important, Mr. Yon? It might sound a little dry, but this is stuff you need to know. This is U.S. government 101 basics right here. And it's hard to be a good and informed citizen if you don't know these things. And you don't have to be perfect at it, after the chapter's done. But if you can recognize and retain just some of it, it will help you to understand the news and make informed decisions as a voter, a voting individual when you turn 18. So important stuff here. Pay attention, get the basics, grapple the basics, and we'll move on from there. But that's what the lesson's about. Only 2 lessons. Lesson 2 is called, what's it called? Government and the People. It's a little basic on the 3 branches of government and how they interact with each other. So your legislative branch, which is Congress, and the president, and the executive branch, and the Supreme Court, and the judicial branch. We learn about the roles of the branches and how they interact with each other. And then I think there's a little bit on the end there about citizenship and naturalization. So what it is to be a citizen and how you become a citizen. And that's it. It's only 2 lessons. I'm not going to put it in a test form. We're going to do some kind of wrap-up submission. It'll be 2 days. You have 2 days, so study day and a test day is what you usually have. So we'll have 2 days to do this. I'm thinking it'll have something to do with either taking a current event and applying it to what we learn in this chapter, or maybe something that has to do with elections, since election just happened. Depending on when you're doing this lesson, the 7th is election day, but it's local elections, not like big presidential elections or anything. We might have something to do with that. We'll see when we get there in a few days. Anyways, that's it. Go ahead, bump onto the vocab. It'll be a great introduction to a lot of the key concepts we're learning this chapter. And there's the vocab quiz. And tomorrow we'll get into lesson 1. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. See you on the next page.